Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, are you paying more than your fair share in taxes? We'll be talking to a leading national expert. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I hope you'll agree with me. I believe in paying taxes, but I don't think anybody believes in paying more than their fair share. And unfortunately, taxes is often an afterthought when it comes to individuals and business owners. To talk about that today, Monika Hengesbach. She is with Decision Financial Services. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we first met because you started a show in our South Lake studios, and you've done such a great job. How did you come up with the idea of starting a show?
So what I thought was I wanted to be able to help business owners and get that information out to more than just my clients that walk through my door. And I figured, well, why not have a podcast where I can kind of give them little nuggets on how to save money on taxes. And then that way, if they had any other additional information, they can find me, and then I can help them even further along.
Sure, and I think you have expertise in this field. So many business owners will say, "Oh, my bookkeeper does that," or my CPA does that. But the CPA doesn't necessarily know the tax code.
No, not necessarily. There's different levels of licensing, and so a lot of people know CPA. That's very well known, and that's a certified public accountant. And usually, what I say is that if you're looking for a CFO, someone to run your corporation, then you would hire a CPA. But an enrolled agent, their license is specifically held at a federal level, the Internal Revenue Service. And so our exam is purely on tax and tax law. So if you're looking for someone to help you with taxes or tax strategize, then an enrolled agent is the best option for you.
Absolutely. We're going to run a little bit of video from your The Wealthy Wallet show. And I love that name. How'd you come up with The Wealthy Wallet?
I figured if I can help you save money on taxes, then I'm putting a little bit more money back in your wallet.
And you've done something like 10 episodes so far. How do you choose your guests?
Really, the way that I'm thinking about the guest is what is the most important thing or questions that I'm getting from my clients. So if a lot of people are asking for a financial advisor or what to invest, I figure getting a financial advisor on the show would be the best.
Yes.
Or I like to showcase local businesses in my community, somebody that maybe had a hardship or a struggle, because I feel they're not alone. And there's a lot of new businesses that are sprouting up that might have that same issue, and here's a way to resolve it. And so that's usually how I pick my guests.
What's one of your favorite success stories so far of someone you've helped?
So I had a client that came in. They've been paying an exorbitant amount of taxes. She was probably paying about $50,000 to $75,000 worth of taxes every year, and no one ever strategized with her. She was a self-employed attorney. Her husband was an executive, a W-2 executive, and so they came in, and I was able to sit down and strategize with them, just making little tweaks. Some of it I've talked about, hiring your children, setting up payroll, all those kind of things. And this was the first year that they saved over $30,000 on their taxes.
That's amazing. And you can actually go back in time I think there's a window of time in which we can claw back. But isn't that something that like all business owners should have somebody like you in their life to see if they've been overpaying for too many years?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I've seen quite a bit of returns that have come through my office where there have been missed opportunities, and really someone should get a second opinion. Definitely.
We're going to pull up your website. I love the name of the company. How did you come up with Decision Financial?
So the reason why we came up with Decision Financial was we help you make the decisions so you can work what's best for you. And that's how we came up with the name Decision Financial Services.
And you work with nonprofits, you work with trusts. Talk about the different kinds of clients, and I imagine they're across all industries.
They are across all industries. So I work on nonprofits, I work on corporations. My area of expertise happens to be small businesses, individuals, trusts. Trusts are very important. I highly recommend it with the sundowning tax code of the estate that you want to really work on your trusts, and then also do estate tax returns. So every business has a different industry. And so there's a different type of strategy that could go with it. And I've been very blessed. I worked in public accounting, and then I've also worked in corporate America. Mm-hmm. So it's given me a wide variety of information on different industries and how to tweak just a little bit about what they do to help them save money on taxes.
Sure. And famously, we're about to enter this space of the largest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. And many of these millennials and Gen Zs don't know anything about finances. What is that old saying that the first generation makes the money, the second generation blows the money? So, I mean, at the very least, if somebody's a business owner or they're sitting on a lot of wealth, when should they visit somebody like you?
I feel they should visit before they even open up the door. I think it's really critical to come in to speak with the tax accountant, determine right out of the gate what structure you should be in, or things to watch out for, or how to keep your books. I think right then, and then I think regular checkups. That's where I see is missing in my industry, is regular checkups. Meet back with your tax preparer and find out if you are doing the right thing and saving things that you're supposed to.
I want to brag about Monika because she's become wildly popular with the media. She's the person that they turn to when they need advice, including Channel 5 recently did a consumer piece. Let's go ahead and roll that.
If you recently received a letter saying that you owe the IRS money for unpaid 2023 taxes and you know that you paid, well, it may have been a glitch. NBC5 Response reporter Deanna Zoga breaks down what we know and the next steps that you can take.
An NBC5 executive producer shared this letter with NBC5 Response. It's a CP-14 notice from the IRS dated June 3rd. It says it received her tax return. There's no math error, but she has an outstanding balance due by June 24th. The letter says interest is accruing and threatens penalties. Our EP told us she raced to check her financial statements. She could see a payment to the U.S. Treasury went through on tax day, April 15th. Showing she paid and filed federal income taxes on time. The IRS says it's aware some taxpayers are getting CP-14 notices even though their taxes are paid up. According to this statement on the IRS's website, the letters may have gone out before the IRS applied payments to a taxpayer's account, or the payment required additional handling on the IRS's end.
We probably have had a handful of clients that have received the CP-14 notices and have called the office in an absolute panic.
That's North Texas-based tax consultant Monika Hengesbach. If you received a CP-14 notice, she says check your records to confirm the IRS received your federal income tax payment and the check or electronic payment cleared your bank account or credit card.
You want to verify with whatever software you used, if you did set up the payment to be drawn at that time, that did go through successfully. And then the next step would be to log onto your bank account and ensure that the payment actually cleared the bank. If you had those two things happen, then you are okay at this point.
If you paid in full and on time, the IRS says you don't have to take any action.
I know the notice says you have 21 days to pay the outstanding balance and that interest is accruing. I know that is very overwhelming, but just hold tight.
The IRS says it would automatically adjust any assessed penalties and interest when it correctly applies payments. Deanna Zoga, NBC5 Responds.
An IRS spokesperson declined to comment beyond the statement. We asked how many people may have received letters by mistake. We are waiting to hear back.
I know that some mornings you do back-to-back interviews on Fox Radio. You do such a great job. You have the heart of a teacher, don't you?
Yes, actually I do. I really feel that there's a lot of information that I hold, and I feel that by getting it out there, I can help a lot of people.
And I like the way you talk to the common man, so it never feels like you're talking over my head. I mean, you could quote a lot of text code, but that wouldn't really help people. So the way of, bringing it down to the ordinary level without talking down to people.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try very hard. I know that taxes can be extremely complicated, and I want to be able to make sure that once someone has met with me, they leave completely understanding what they need to do.
Absolutely, and the tax law is changing all the time. So if you don't feel like you're getting your dollar's worth from your CPA or whoever you're using right now, I'm sure Monika would welcome a call. How does this work when you're onboarding somebody? They sit down with you or do a Zoom call, or how do you decide whether or not somebody would be a good client?
So usually what happens is they reach out to the office, and my business development manager will get the necessary information. And depending on where they're located, if they're located in the DFW, they usually want to come in the office for a meeting. If they're not local, we can always do Zoom, of course. And then what I like to do is I always ask for a copy of last year's tax return so I can see how the return looks like. I hate to say it, about 85% of the time I find an error in a return that was done. And then they come in, I talk about them. And really what I talk about is more of where they see themselves today and where they see themselves 5 years from now. Because that gives me a great snapshot of their motivation as to how much they want to grow their business, their kids going away to college, their wife may be retiring, maybe not working, now is going to come back in the job force. Those are all opportunities for me to find the right strategy for them that I can set up in a plan and help them save money going forward.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to have you back again soon. Congratulations with your Wealthy Wallet show. And we're going to end with her website, which is decisionfinancial.com. Monika, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.